In simple terms, they used your money against you. Took your tax money, spent it on stupid things you don't approve of. This is what the Biden-Harris administration did. Millions of taxpayer dollars on their progressive pet projects. As the chairman highlighted, $1 billion in DEI grants from the Education Department, $2 million in grants for gender ideology from the Justice Department, millions of dollars for progressive criminal justice reforms, radical open border activities, billions and billions of dollars for that. And I think, as the chairman mentioned, our favorite, of course, is Sesame Street in Iraq. Bert and Ernie, Big Bird in Baghdad. Wow, what a great use of taxpayer dollars.
No matter how snarky and condescending Jim Jordan gets when describing these, in his words, stupid things that provide real-world value to the American people, just know that this is how the Republicans are justifying kicking off millions of people from life or death social safety nets like Medicaid, like Medicare, and SNAP to fund tax cuts for the rich. Thankfully, though, Jamie Raskin was on point during this hearing to check Jordan's nonsense.
Pointing fingers is for losers. I'm quoting our colleague, Representative Chip Roy, from last week. And this has become a mantra for our colleagues in the wake of the devastating flooding in Texas, which cost already 132 lives with still 160 people missing. It's now an article of faith among our colleagues that in the age of climate change disasters, like Hurricane Helene, which cost 200 lives in North Carolina, or deadly tornadoes in the Midwest, you name it, in the age of out-of-control gun violence, whether in Uvalde or Buffalo or Charleston or Parkland, we should never engage in finger-pointing or casting blame or attributing responsibility to individuals. Although, of course, Donald Trump finger points and casts blame at Democratic leaders, as he did recently with Governor Newsom with the wildfires in California. But in any event, the point is, we don't really want to know which individuals are responsible. We should be addressing the underlying systemic problems like climate change, effective emergency response and planning, or mass gun violence and reducing access to military-style assault weapons, rather than vilifying people and casting blame on a partisan basis. Fine, let's adopt that rule. Finger-pointing is for losers. For this committee, no to finger-pointing, yes to problem-solving. But this entire hearing is nothing but absurd political finger-pointing. And it's not even finger-pointing at people who actually run our government or occupy public office. It's finger-pointing at not-for-profit groups.
Raskin's opening statement perfectly explains how Republicans shield themselves from any responsibility and accountability for their disastrous policy decisions that more often than not only become obvious to the American people once tragedy strikes and the damage has already been done.
We didn't even have a hearing on the richest billionaire in the world, Elon Musk, who actually had a government job running Doge, destroying large parts of our government, firing tens of thousands of our federal workers. The Republicans didn't even call in Elon Musk for a hearing or have a hearing about what he was doing, but they want to have a hearing in 2025 about George Soros, all of the old, tired, exhausted, absurd conspiracy theories again. And I don't see any, and these witnesses can correct me if I'm wrong, I perused all their statements. I didn't see a single one of them allege a single crime, anything illegal going on. They just don't like the things that he invests in. They don't like what certain not-for-profit groups do. Well, I don't love everything that the right-wing not-for-profits do. Why are we having a hearing about this? What an absurd waste of time. This hearing, if our motto is going to be finger pointing's for losers, this hearing is for losers. Because all it is finger pointing at somebody who doesn't even have political power.
Can Republicans be honest? Like, the right wing's grievances with these left-leaning nonprofits and advocacy groups boil down to them just not liking the policies they advocate for and wanting to silence the opposition.
This hearing, I'm afraid, Mr. Chairman, is for losers. It's about finger pointing at people who don't have any governmental power at all. It's old recycled allegations, and we're not advancing the ball on anything.
Speaking of finger pointing losers, just watch what Jim Jordan used his time for later in this same hearing.
The Public Law Center labels a lot of conservative groups as hate groups.
Yes,
right?
Including Focus on the Family this year.
Focus on the Family, Alliance Defending Freedom, Family Research Council,
Turning Point
Center for
USA.
Immigration Studies, Moms for Liberty. Moms are now a hate group?
Yes, they put Moms for Liberty on there. They actually said that they compared them to the Uptown Klan of the 1950s.
And you know what? You said there's various, the Service Employees International Union gave money to a group that then gave money to the Tides Foundation. Is that true?
No, the SEIU gave directly to
Oh, they gave
Tides
directly.
Advocacy and the Tides Foundation, yes.
Yeah, and then I think also in your testimony, you point out that the Tides Foundation not only got money from left-wing union groups, but they also got money directly from the taxpayers through USAID. Is that right?
Correct. It was $27 million.
$27 million.
It was awarded. Not all of those grants were fulfilled.
And what's the Tides Foundation up to? What kind of crazy things are they doing with taxpayer money and left-wing employee union money? What are they doing?
Bankrolling the Southern Poverty Law Center, for one. They also have an in-house nonprofit called Palestine Legal.
So Tides Foundation gets a boatload of taxpayer money. People I get the privilege of representing from the 4th District of Ohio, some of their money is going to the Tides Foundation. Then it's then going to the Southern Poverty Law Center, where they can label moms as terrorists and say that if you're a Catholic, you're an extremist. That all happens with American tax dollars. Is that right?
We don't have concrete proof of the fact of the Tide Center receiving money that they then gave to the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Money's fungible. We're not.
So your
dummies
overall
here.
point is 100%.
And one of the things we know they're doing, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. O'Neill, that we know they're doing is they're taking some of that money to undermine our allies and friends like Prime Minister Netanyahu in the state of Israel. Is that right?
Well, one of the big things they have is an in-house nonprofit representing anti-Israel rioters on college campuses called Palestine Legal.
Yeah.
So yes.
So they're doing it here and there, undermining Israel here and there, anti-Semitic activity here on our campuses, all with American tax money. Wow.
Contributes. Yeah.
Wow. And the other side says, again, Mr. Van Drew shouldn't be having this hearing. Are you kidding me? American tax dollars used to say moms are terrorists, we're going to go after pro-life Catholics, and our best friend internationally, our best ally, the state of Israel, we're going to undermine their government while we're at it. Such a deal for the taxpayers, huh?
Jordan and the witnesses are purposely mischaracterizing these groups and causes they advocate for, principally social justice and societal progress, as direct discriminatory attacks on their worldview, when in reality, both sides of the aisle are doing the same thing. And one can even argue that the Republicans have been far more successful in obtaining tangible political power, like school boards, the local government, state governments, the judicial system, and so on and so forth. And these type of hearings really distract from the real pressing political issues of the day, whether it be, the Jeffrey Epstein files and Donald Trump's connection to them, or how about the fact that the DOJ just fired Maureen Comey, the daughter of James Comey. And then on top of that, you have ICE now being able to get access to Medicaid enrollees' personal information to see who's in the country unlawfully. There are so many other avenues, right, in the political space that are much more important than what's going on in this hearing.
I think this is an absurd waste of our time. Why are we not addressing urgent policy problems like the pervasive nationwide violation of due process and First Amendment rights by ICE and other federal agents who arrive now in unmarked cars, in plain clothes, without badges or arrest warrants, and then snatch people off the streets and send them to a torturer's prison in El Salvador? Do you think the United States House of Representatives Judiciary Committee should have an interest in defending due process? So my colleagues say, you're not for due process for guilty people, are you? Well, yeah, because we don't know if they're guilty until they've gotten due process. That's why due process are the two most beautiful words in the English language. It's what separates our rights and our freedoms from arbitrary state power.
This hearing is a perfect example of how Republican officials are so effective in convincing their own base to vote against their own material interest. It's all there, black and white, crystal clear to see. And anybody who tells you otherwise, they're lying to you, okay? They're trying to gaslight you. Because the Republicans, this is what they do. They lie, right? They steal, they cheat, And then they make you think it was another party who did all of this. And I'm talking about you as in their base. And sometimes people are like, I don't care. If these people are not going to get rights, then I'm good with it. Even if, I suffer. For Rebel HQ, I'm Chris Williamson. We'll see you next time.